Well, here I am in Louisiana. I had to finish my video on the road. I had to go to work. There's my campground I'm staying at. I have all the data and I charted the graphs before I left home. So I had all the testing done, and this is just basically my closing statement. I did video editing, and I'm going to post the graphs at the beginning of this video because that's what most of you are interested in anyway. If you want to see how I got the data, that's in the rest of the video. You can take your time and watch that. I know it's a 18-20 minute video, but you can skim through it, see how I got some of the testing done and what it took to get the data. So what is the best PDR glue of 2020? Well, in my opinion, after doing these tests and charting the data, it's up to the user and what you're trying to accomplish. If you want a softer pull, pull it sooner. If you want a stronger pull it later. With these graphs that you're going to see, you can kind of guess about the sweet spot. I've got 2 different panel temperatures and 4 different times: 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 30, and 1 minute. So, and I've got the pounds of force that each of those time settings took to pull off the panel. So a way to interpret this again is that there's a sweet spot you want to pull your glue at and achieve maximum power for the type of glue during that time period, and it all varies on what the temperature of the panels are and time of the season. So happy pulling. Good evening, and welcome to part 2 of the top 10 PDR glues of 2020. Here's my setup. I've got my stopwatch here. I scratch the paint where I'm going to do my testing. After every test, I'm going to clean it thoroughly with the alcohol. The panel is 66 degrees, humidity level is 66 degrees, and outside temperature is 57 degrees. The tabs I'm using is 12 millimeter and 15 millimeter, 10 tabs of each. Each glue gets its own tab. I'm going to clean each one of them with alcohol before use. Let's get started. Now that the 12mm tab is over with, let's try the 15mm. Wow, there's some high numbers in there, and I can't believe those tabs and that paint can hold up to so much abuse. After a couple equipment fails and some repairs, it's time to go to bed. It's 1:30 in the morning, and tomorrow I've got the high temperature test to do, and I've got to crunch some numbers. Hi, welcome to day 2 of part 2 testing. The humidity outside is 34%. It's 77 degrees outside, and the panel temperature is 80 degrees. Let's get started. The guns have been on for over 14 minutes now. I primed them each twice, and I'm going to prime them again. That way we make sure the glue is all the way at the front, and then I'm going to let it sit until 20 minutes and see if any of them end up dripping. I put a board down here to catch the drips and describe, there we go, tequila turquoise just dripped. After 28.5 minutes, oh, we just got another one from Glue Sticks Online. We've got our first drip from Tabweld at 37 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and prime each one of these again just to make sure the glue is all the way at the end. Cactus green has dripped out quite a bit, so I just want to make sure it's got a full tube. Kind of like normally used when you're at a shop. I'm going to go ahead and check the temperature of these before 60 minutes. Now that the test has ran for more than 1 hour, I'm going to stop this test and we'll check the results. Glue Sticks Online had a couple of drips. The larger ones are purges. That's when I pushed the glue out by hand. Root beer did not drip. That's a purge. Tabweld had a drip and a purge. Cactus green had several drips. It dripped the most out of the bunch. Several spider webs attached. Kiko Cam Auto, it dripped a few times. There's one over here by Cactus green, and that's a purge. Hog Orange, it dripped several times, a little bit more than Kiko Cam Auto. Orange Fire did not drip. That's a purge. Glue Traxx did not drip. Dent Out Red did not drip. Tequila Turquoise dripped a few times and is very spiderwebby. The temperature of the glue guns were all in the range, seemed to be about 210 to 225 degrees. Now when you're using hot glue, it's going to drip. It's a hot gun, and hot wants to go somewhere cold. So the only place it has to go is out. Now some glues drip more than others because they've got a lower melting temperature. Green, for example, I would guess has a lower melting temperature because it drips a lot. Dent Out Red, Glue Traxx, Orange Fire, they're made for hotter weather, which means they can withstand the hotter temperature of the gun. Now, dripping is not necessarily a bad thing. That just means your glue gun works. Now, if you do think your glue gun drips excessively, you've got a couple of options. You can store your gun upright, and that'll help let any air bubbles work their way out. Another option is put a little bit of glue on your next stick before you put it in the gun. That way, it'll help prevent any air between their sticks. I cleaned the hood with alcohol. I'm going to put a big tab of glue of each one of these, and we'll see how easy it is to get off. Well, after all this, I think we've learned something. Especially that I forgot to use the slide hammer.